So a special fact that we have all started to become awakened to is the fact that public education has not prepared much of any of us for the workforce, for, life in general. They didn't teach us, depending on the schools that you went to, they didn't teach us the basic necessities of life and what it would take to survive as an adult once you cross over from, school age education, into college and into the, your career and stuff like that. I know for my school, I did attend a vocational type of high school, so I took electrical engineering in my classes, but it was a very pre-engineering, and I'm talking pre, you know what I mean? They have like pre-engineering and college and stuff like that, because what I learned in the 4 years at my high school, they studied in one semester. They were talking about in one semester at the college that I was attending. And so I realized very quickly that I had not acquired enough education to get me through those classes, let alone the understanding of what it would take with discipline and hard work and consistency to actually maintain my grades at the school. And I sat here and I was thinking that public education actually created a very false self-confidence within me, where, I was a student who would get A's and B's. I wasn't like every year I was on the honor roll or anything like that, but I had been on the honor roll a few times. I was a student that would ace out of my classes. Like, I was I was a decent student, very decent student with my grades and stuff like that. But after a while, I was pretty good, but after a while, I'm like, first of all, we're learning repetitive information. That used to bother me, because the more I would learn the information, the more I would forget it. I don't even know how that makes sense, but for me, I just kept, every time I would learn the same information, I would literally forget it, because I don't know, it felt like, I don't know, it was so annoying to me. But other than that, with the classes that I did really excel in, it gave me a boost of confidence. Like, I remember, as far back as the 3rd grade and even beforehand, where I was, acing classes and I was doing so well. And I had that confidence. I'm like, yo, I'm super smart. Like, I'm hella intelligent. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. I can do whatever I want to do. You know what I mean? I can make it I was at the point where I had so much confidence that I wanted to apply to MIT and Berkeley and all of these schools and stuff like that, but I still hadn't actually figured out what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what career choice I really wanted. I just knew that, I took electrical engineering for 4 years. It only made sense to go into another engineering type of school or something like that. And then down the road, I started really wanting to do theater and stuff like that. But I had no sense of discipline or consistency with, much of anything that I did, other than the fact that I was really good at passing the classes. One, let's just be real, what I mean? Going through certain classes, you learn by memory. That's a good way to really ace out of your classes. But I was very gifted in a way where I just, I really loved math. So that was those were the classes that I would really do well in, right? But because of this, I started to almost slack a little bit. It was like I felt so confident that I felt like I didn't have to work as hard anymore, just because I would pass the class next time, or I would be able to just wing it. Like, I would try to wing my tests. Like, listen, sometimes I would do very well, but other times, like, it was like, you should study the material a little bit more. You should have paid attention a little bit more. But I had a bit of an inflated ego. And then coming from the fact as well that, coming from a single family home, like, growing up with my mom, she was really good at reading, but she wasn't as great with math. And so me excelling at that, you know what I mean? It was just one of those things where, oh, I'm super smart. I'm the only one in the house that knows how to do this, and this. Like, I just had like a huge ego on top of the other things that I dealt with emotionally, mentally, trauma, whatever the case may be. But we're not talking about that. So I'm like walking around, I'm cleaning up my house, and I'm realizing, man, I had a really I had an inflated ego. I had a lot of confidence during school, but I did not know where to place it. I didn't know where to put it. And it turned some people off. It turned some people on, right? I felt like, sometimes I would feel like the black sheep in a way, like within family or even at school and whatnot. So that was something that I could really, hold strong to. Like, oh man, I'm super smart, I'm super intelligent, I'm such a great math this, and I'm a geek, you know what I mean? I'm a nerd, like. But I just realized it just contributed negatively to the fact that I didn't have any direction. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and I hadn't, because of that, inflated self-confidence, I didn't feel like I had to work as hard, and it really slowed me down in a way. It really, really slowed me down. And then I started to drift off into other areas because I said, okay, what is it that I can do that let's be real. I looked into different areas to see what can I do that's easier, because I was doing engineering, electrical engineering, and that stuff was hard. It was hard. It was a lot. You know what I mean? I did very well for the material that I had learned, but everything outside of it, I was like, I feel like I hit a wall, and so I didn't know what to do moving forward. And so I said, all right, well, let me find something that's easier. Then I found theater, and I was like, oh, okay, I love theater. Theater is dope. Like, it felt like a great way to express myself. I felt like I was a part of a community, because when you're in engineering or you're in those type of classes, advanced classes and stuff like that, there's an independence that you have, right? Because I don't know how to say this. I mean, it could just be due to the fact that I was just always a loner. So I would always try to do stuff on my own. So I didn't have like a lot of, partners and tutors and stuff like that. But theater, for me, it just felt like I was a part of a community, a bunch of other people who were able to express themselves, and they were telling a story through words. And I used to be, I'm someone who writes poetry. I used to do that a lot as well. I like to write poetry, and then I started to write scripts and stuff in theater classes and stuff. I loved that. So I realized, okay, that may be something I want to do a bit more. But again, first of all, I didn't have any classes like that in, I think I want to say fifth grade, outside of me doing like performance, well, I guess, because I used to be on a step team, and I used to do like sing at talent shows and stuff like that. But as far as like theater, they didn't have that type of thing in my high school. At least I don't remember. So that was something new that I was able to be a part of. Like, oh, choir, that's what I was going to say. I was in choir for 3 years in middle school, which I loved, which was like performance and stuff like that. But it wasn't theater, right? Because you're theater, you're telling a story type of energy. So what am I saying this to say? What am I saying this to say? Basically the stem of it, because I was thinking about my kids as well, right? I have 2 small ones, and I thought, okay, well, they're going to be going into the school system. A lot of us have to put our kids in the school system. Why? Because we have to manage to find a way to live, which means making money, which means you have to be at work away from your kids, which means you can't be with them all day, every day, right? So if they're going to go into the school system, they're going to go through the type of education that we went through. I thought, okay, what did I learn? And this is random, because I'm literally cleaning my house and just walking around, and just all these thoughts are running through my head, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, oh, my kids are going back to school. That was another reason why they're getting ready to go back to school. So okay, I started to think, okay, if they're not getting any information out of the school system, I struggled. I was very smart, very, very smart, but I hit some really bumps along the way, because I didn't get the type of help that I needed at home. And then I'm in school, and I have this inflated sense of ego, right? Because I'm doing well in a specific area of school, and that's where the slacking and stuff like that would come in. And kind of just trying to act out and get some type of attention and all that. But I say all this to say is that, we as parents need to take into account that the school system is not meant to teach your kids to be great leaders and put them in a position to take control of their life and live the best life that they want to live and be able to express themselves and, be an individual. The school system is used as a tool to control children and control young adults so that they become a worker, right? So that they can help support their system, support and make, money for the system. And so as parents, we at home need to be able to be strong enough and, clear-minded to provide what it is that we can, the education that we can when they're in our, environment, in our territory, so to speak. Right? We need to be teaching them the communication skills. We need to be teaching them and this is not in a way because I'm a new parent. And so my kids aren't even school age to be able to, go through this right now. But this is because I don't want to come off as if I'm just telling you guys, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be doing, right? Because like I said, I'm new to this and some of you have been parents for longer. Some of you already know this, right? I'm just speaking on what is it that I have, right? This is the evolution of me, right? And I'm just, speaking about it. And this is what I've, come to terms with and learned and understood myself. And it seems like on the surface, it's like, duh, we already knew that. I don't even know why you're saying this. But for me, I can hear things as much as I can hear the podcast and I can watch the videos and I can hear it from other people. But until I've experienced it or until it clicks in my own brain, I won't be fully there. Now, of course, I implement in my household, I try to do certain things that teach my kids and, create discipline and, I'm working on my own consistency still. And, just creating that structure and that stability within the household. You guys, I forgot my thought. It just slipped my mind. Oh my. Yeah, of course I'm working on the security. Hold on, you guys. Oh yes, okay. Of course, we all know that, we have to instill, morals and values and stability and structure within the household. Of course, when it comes to our children, right? But a lot of us don't realize that some of us didn't have parents at home to give us that type of education that we need, right? Or give it to us in a way that we could hear it, we could understand it, and we could utilize it in the world out here. So some of us are in our 20s and in our 30s and in our 40s still trying to figure it out, right? And like I said, for me, it's just now clicking for me. I still implement those, that discipline and, what I mean? It's a learning process, especially too, before you have kids, what I mean? You think and then you have kids and then it's boom. Epiphany. Then you start to realize things and things start to, you start to see everything in a different light. So, basically all I'm saying is, number one, the public school system isn't going to teach you or teach your kids whatever they need to live. I mean, I can't even say that they teach you what you need to survive out in life. They don't. I could say the biggest thing that you can get from the public school system is, social awareness, where you get to socialize with other kids. You're aware of the genders between men and women, or little girls, little boys, and I feel like that's the number one thing that you get out of the school system, and also that discipline where you work, you do this, you do that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I feel like I need to start just because I really want to be all cute and record a video when I'm really at my best and stuff, but I write so many things down that I overwhelm myself. So I might just, as soon as I get the idea, when I get the message, I might just pick up my phone and record and just do the video, and you know, that'll be that. But anyways, I appreciate you guys, all my subscribers. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for following me and, you know, waiting for my content to come out. And hopefully, you know, I hope to see you guys, you know, thrive and grow, and you know, everything that you wish for to come true, just as much as everything for me to come true as well. And yeah, I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace.